15th, 2019, and all of the game ones have officially ended. They started, Saturday? And, of course, they ended yesterday night. And we have a lot to talk about because some of y'all's favorite first seeds just couldn't get the job done. For whatever reason, there's a lot of different star players over the weekend that just didn't show up. And we're going to talk about why. First off, we're going to talk about Philly and Brooklyn. What did I say last episode? I told you guys D'Angelo Russell, kid could hoop. You didn't listen. He had 26. Y'all didn't know because y'all didn't listen. I told him he could hoop. But there's this one dude, Mr. LeVert, Mr. Karis LeVert, who was also on Brooklyn. Who is that? A lot of y'all, who is that? Who is this? He had 23 points. Karis LeVert had 23 points on Brooklyn versus Philly. Who is that? The guard, he's a guard out of Michigan. Was it third year in the league? His first playoff game ever. And he drops 23. He's never averaged more than 14 points in his career. And in game one against Philly, he drops 23, going 8 for 18. 3 threes, 3 for 3 from downtown. You want to know how Brooklyn stole this game from Philly? Philly wasn't ready and Brooklyn was ready. And sometimes that's all it comes down to. Which team is ready for the playoffs? But no one expected Brooklyn to be more ready than Philly. I mean, did we? Did we really? I mean, great. Jimmy Butler had a great game. It was he got 38 on 50% from the field. Where was Tobias Harris? He played 40 points. He only had 4 points. 4. Tobias Harris, you played 40 points and you only dropped 4 points. 6 assists, but he only had 4 points? I don't know, what are we supposed to... JJ Redick had 5 points. 5. He was 2 for 7 from the field. It shot 28%. 25% from 3. Why are they... I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the first game. Maybe it's nerves. But, man, I could have sworn I said JJ had to shoot a lot better than that. And then we get to Joel Embiid. Yeah. Now, on paper, his box score looks dope. Oh, Joel Embiid, he had 15 rebounds. He had 5 blocks. And look, he had 23 points. Wow. He was hooping. Joel Embiid was really hooping. Nope. No, he wasn't. Because he went 5 for 15 from the field. That's 33% from the field. 33%. What are we supposed to do with 33% from the field when you're the most dominant big man physically in the NBA? Why and how are you shooting 33%? He shot 5 threes. He missed all of them. But he missed all of them. Every single 3, he missed them. Why are you shooting 5 threes anyway? I don't know. I told y'all, man, the success of Philly would come down to Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid played very, very poor for his standards. Any other big in the league, okay, 23 points, dope. But not with that percentage, though. But any other big in the league, just the points and the rebounds, yeah. Nah, we could work with that. Not Joel Embiid. Not when your team revolves around Joel Embiid. Then it becomes a different issue. Then it becomes a way different issue. And imagine this, if these kind of field goal percentage numbers stay consistent in these playoffs for Joel Embiid, you can only imagine how short the Philadelphia 76ers playoff run is going to be. You can only imagine how short it's going to be. You know why? Because how many times is Jimmy Butler going to score almost 40 points on 50%? How many times is Jimmy Butler going to do that? What, maybe a couple more times this playoffs? I don't think he's going to do it any more times this series. Do you think can y'all honestly say you think Jimmy Butler is going to drop 40 again this series? And they still couldn't win because what the success of the team doesn't matter what it matters what Jimmy Butler does in the supporting cast, but it matters the most how Joel Embiid plays. That's what matters. Oh yeah, and it doesn't help that as a team, Philly went 29 for 42 from the free throw line. It doesn't help that you went 29 from 42 from the free throw line. You know what else? You know what's worse? It doesn't help that as a team, they shot 3 for 25 from the 3-point line. 3 for 25. That's 12%. Now, granted, you don't have a lot of shooters. You might only have one sharpshooter, but 3 for 25 from the 3? Maybe it's time to stop shooting so many threes. Maybe get it to the post. Maybe, or maybe just step inside and shoot a mid-range. You never know. I mean, it could work. Still, the thing is, I'm giving Philly the series. I still think Philly's going to win the series. But if they play like this, and specifically if Joel plays like this again, who knows? Could Philly just get kicked out first round? Let's hope not, because, man, the ceiling for Joel Embiid is very high. He's a top 10 player in the league. To me, I think so. But you got to come better than that. We'll see. We'll see, man. Probably not going to have another game that off, but we'll see. Because if he does, it will start questioning the whole series, the whole East, really. Now, we'll move on to Toronto versus the Magic. Another dude. Another upset. I guess Kyle Lowry. I guess. Man, 0 for 7, man. Kyle Lowry 0 for 7. And 6 of them were 3-point attempts. I don't like that math. You're a point guard. And you're not a 0 for 7 from the field, and 6 of them were 3-point attempts. You shoot 34% from the 3 in the regular season. Come on, you know not to do that. Or you should know not to do that. You're not new. You're not a rookie. Are you a rookie, Kyle Lowry? Is that why you're just, jacking up threes and missing them? Wide open threes. These are wide open threes too, y'all. These aren't contested. These are wide open threes. These are the type of threes, someone's gotten to the paint halfway, they kick it back up to the key. It's Kyle Lowry with the ball in his hands, and he shoots a 3, and no one's even close to him. And he clanks it. It's those type of threes he's missing. Just don't take them, because you're 0 for 7. You got 0 points. Kawhi had 25. Siakam had 24. Both of them went 50% or higher from the field. I don't know why Siakam is shooting 4 threes, though. Why? I don't know why you're doing that. Don't do that. Toronto went 33% from 3. Not good enough when you have someone like Danny Green on your team. All right? 33% from the 3 as a team isn't good enough when you have him on your team. And Danny Green, you got to shoot the ball more than 9 times. Danny Green, why are you shooting the ball only 9 times? You know what? How's this? Kyle Lowry, you divide that 7 attempts in half. Give him to Danny Green. Because I'm sure he'll make at least a couple of those 3-pointers that you missed. I'm sure he will. Marcus Gasol shot as many times as you, Danny Green, and you played more minutes. How? Great shot by Augustine. He hooped. He had 25. I mean, it's not like Toronto didn't get out hustled or anything. The rebounding, the hustle stats were similar. They just weren't knocking down shots. They weren't making shots from 3 or the free throw line. They just weren't making bucket. They weren't making their shots, and they were open shots. They were getting good looks. These were open shots, man. Like, in the future, like, Toronto should win this again. The first seed lose it. Toronto should win this series. Not the first seed, but Toronto should win this series. They just can't play like this again. They can't. The Warriors won. I mean, the Warriors won because they're the Warriors. Curry went nuts. He had, 38, 40 points. He went nuts. The Clippers, they played their little hearts out, man. It just wasn't enough. Like, and you know what's, bro, the crazy part is the Warriors played like a decent game for their standards. And the Clippers, I don't think, couldn't have played a much better game. Did the Clippers not play almost perfect? And they still lost by double digits. I mean, there's not much to say. Y'all were really convinced that the Warriors, oh man, they're in trouble. I know it's just the Clippers and that stuff, but still, just the way they're hooping and how easy it looks for them. I mean, the most exciting part of that game, well, Curry was going nuts, so I like that because he's so dope to watch to me. He's so great to watch. But besides that, the most exciting part in the game was what? Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley. They're back and forth. I like that. I mean, yeah, Patrick Beverley's the type of player you want him on your team, but if you're playing against him, you hate him. You hate him. Absolutely hate him. Yeah, they got tossed. Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley. Earlier in the game, they both picked up a double technical, and then later in the game, they both picked up a double technical, and they got tossed. Kevin Durant forced a turnover. No, Kevin Durant didn't force a turnover. Kevin Durant forced. It was a weird thing where Patrick Beverley almost lost the ball. Kevin Durant fouled him and made Patrick Beverley fall out of bounds. And Kevin Durant stood over him like, yeah. Like, that was a good play. You really just pushed him, Kevin Durant. Stop it. Yeah, I pushed you. Yeah. I'm 6'9" and you're 2 feet tall, and I pushed you to the ground. Like, okay, calm down. I like it, but come on, what really did you do? So Patrick Beverley got up and he walked towards Kevin Durant shouting, and the ref wasn't having any of it, man. If y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all watched it, like, the ref said, no, y'all are gone. As soon as Patrick Beverley opened his mouth to say anything, no, y'all are both gone. But it was late in the game, and I think it was late in the fourth quarter. I think there was only like 2 minutes left in the game, so it really didn't affect it. The Warriors were already rolling. So yeah, man. I guess watch that series if you want, but you should know what's going to happen. If the Warriors don't sweep the Clippers, they should gentlemen sweep them in 5. Honestly, the Spurs won. Man, the Nuggets they're just too young, man. Too many mistakes. I mean, but you gotta expect that. They're so inexperienced, and I don't know, man. Gary Harris had 20 points on 58%. Jamal Murray had 17, but on 8 for 24 shooting. 33 percentage shooting. That hurt. I mean, this is when you get into the youth of the Nuggets. Honestly. I feel like they were too nervous. And I feel like they took too many threes, and they missed way too many threes for how many they took. 6 for 28 from the 3, that's 21%. I mean, I understand it, but when you break down the fact that the Nuggets were 20th in points per game in the regular season, how? I mean, how were they 20th? Are you sure they were first seed? They were 20th in points per game in the regular season. How were they first seed? They didn't outscore their opponents. They out-hustled their opponents. 8th in rebounds. 2nd in assists. That's how they won games in the regular season. Not by shooting threes and making them. They used team chemistry and the fact that they were young and they could fly up and down the court. They used that to outplay teams and to beat teams. And shoot threes. Now they're trying to shoot threes. And of course, they're missing them because they don't shoot threes. That's not a thing they do. Now rewind to Saturday night. They got 25 assists. But yeah, they just took too many threes. If you're not okay. This goes to Philly specifically, and this goes to Denver specifically. Maybe OKC. If you're not knocking down threes, just if you get the ball, like especially with the corner threes, really any threes, if you're not knocking them down and you're struggling, when you catch the ball at the top, maybe dribble inside the 3-point line, take a mid-range. Take a mid-range. Missing a 3-point opportunity is a lot worse than making a 2-point opportunity. Just take the mid-range. They add up. I promise you they add up. Ask San Antonio. They shoot a lot of them. They shoot a lot of them. They add up and they work. Not everyone has to win the same way. There is no such thing as winning playoff basketball. Even in the playoffs, there's so many different ways to win basketball games. It's always good to have a 3-point shooter, if not 2. I don't feel like you can win a finals without some shooting from the outside. But to get to the finals especially, there's so many ways to do that. You got to find your specific way. You can't do what the Warriors do. You can't just shoot threes and win and average like 120 something. You can't do it. You don't have the firepower to do it. You do what you got. You do what got you here. Because if it ain't broke, why would you try to fix it? I shouldn't be saying this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know this. Because Denver has a great team. Okay, they're just not ready. They're just not ready. If you're a Nuggets fan, I don't think you should be upset, even if they don't like come out of the West, even if they like lose, say in the second round. There's no reason to be upset if you're a Nuggets fan. Your potential in your team is like crazy high. Crazy high. You just got to give it some time for these kids to find out what type of player they are and what type of players they need around them. That's what's most important. You could have talent, but if you don't know how to play with the talent you have on your team, then it's wasted talent. Ask OKC. Melo, Paul George, Westbrook, wasted talent. Y'all remember that team, that quote-unquote super team. When you have talent surrounded, like in one team, and you think that you're done, you just have the talent, you're wrong. Your talent has to know how to play together. That's the next step. OKC, oh man. OKC lost to Portland, man. OKC lost to Portland. Gosh, Paul George, he shot very poorly for an MVP candidate. I'm sorry, for an MVP candidate, he shot very poorly. Very poorly. 33% from the field, 26% from the 3-point line. Sheesh. OKC, you guys only led one time in the whole game, and it was by 1 point. This is a stat that kills me. Guess what they shot from 3 as a team? OKC shot a whopping 5 for 33 from the 3. 15.2%. 15.2%. Stop shooting all these threes if you're not making them. I'm tired of repeating myself. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Damian Lillard played well, 30 points, 5 threes. He hooped. But still, I have a shout out to Dinesh. It's my homeboy who's an OKC fan. I told him right after the game, I texted him, if you're an OKC fan, I still am not worried about this series. I don't think Paul George is going to have an off shooting night like that again. As a team, even, I don't think they're going to have an off shooting night from 3 like that again. They just got to get in their groove. I said they shouldn't. I'm not going to say they won't because you don't know what's going to happen, especially with Russell Westbrook. Especially with Russell Westbrook on the team. You don't know what's going to happen. They shouldn't have another poor shooting night like this. I don't know if they will or not, but I still think they're going to win this series. They should win this series. Paul George, you got to, come on, man. I don't know. I said last episode I don't want them putting like too much pressure on Paul George, and I feel like they already have, and it's the first game. I don't know, man. I don't want Paul George to have to be the one to try to carry this team, because if that happens, then they have no chance of making it even to the conference finals. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Boston beat the Pacers. Almost everyone on the Celtics shot well. Very low scoring game, but I mean, Indiana just doesn't have enough. Of course, with that crucial injury to the team, they just don't have enough. I'm looking at I don't have much to say about this game. Very low scoring game. A very fundamentally charged game. Defense was huge in this game. It's just, yeah, man. Watch out for Boston though, because they can make some noise, especially with how Toronto has been played first game. Boston could slip in and make some noise in this playoffs. Please watch out for Boston because they are very talented. The Bucks smoked the Pistons. Blake Griffin's injury didn't help. I mean, Andre Drummond needed to be more aggressive, man. But how aggressive can you be with Giannis in the paint down there? Just defensively, because defensively the Bucks are the whole season, not even just this playoffs or game one. Really, the whole year. Defensively, the Bucks are always all over the place. No easy shots. They contest every shot. They make every shot difficult. Detroit never led the entire game. I feel like when it comes to the Eastern Conference teams, the Bucks definitely set the bar. But then again, they are playing the Pistons. So we don't know how, I'll say, authentic this game is when it comes to them being matched up with Toronto or them being matched up against Boston or even Philly. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Because, the Bucks definitely hooped. Definitely hooped. The Rockets beat the Jazz. The Jazz played well. It was weird, though. The Jazz tried to do that. They tried to do that thing that Milwaukee does to James Harden. How Milwaukee, I guess, cracked the code, apparently not, on how to defend James Harden, where they stand on his left side. Not even shifting to the left. No. As soon as James Harden comes up the court with the ball, they are completely on his left side, and James Harden's right side is completely open. They do that so they can get the ball out of his dominant left hand so that he can't hit step-back threes and he can't make them as easy, I guess. But did it work? Of course it didn't work. They limited James Harden's points. It worked in that regard. They limited James Harden's points, but now you have James Harden driving with his right, which he's not bad at, and dishing it to PJ Tucker, who had 3 threes. Eric Gordon, who had a few threes. Clint Capella, who was hooping. Throwing lobs up to him. Y'all do know James Harden had more assists than Chris Paul in this game. Because of this. The Jazz, you know what? The Jazz and any other team that Houston plays in the future is going to have to focus on who they leave open while they're trying to double team Harden and while they're trying to run defensive help towards James Harden, who are we leaving open while we're doing this? Because y'all are acting like Houston only has Chris Paul and James Harden. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they do not. Because when you're doubling him, you're leaving these kids open who can knock down shots, contested. So you know when they're wide open, they're going to net them. They're going to net them. That's just what's going to happen. I mean, so far, yeah, the game, in a whole, the game ones, I like them a lot. A lot of unexpected stuff happened. I guess the best team right now in the playoffs in the East is Milwaukee. You have to say Milwaukee, even though of course they're playing 8th seed. You have to say Milwaukee because of how they're playing, not just because who they beat. You look at how they played, and they played ridiculous. They played ridiculous defense. They played efficient offense. They moved the ball. They cut off easy, fast break points that they could have let go, but they didn't. And then out of the West, you got to look at Golden State. And I know you hate this, but you got to look at Golden State. Think about it like this. This could be their last year together as a team with KD, Steph, and Clay. This could be their last year all together. You think they're going to just waste this opportunity to get another chip? Or even defend for another chip? No. Are you nuts? No. I told y'all, man. Playoff Warrior basketball is way different from regular season Warrior basketball. Way different. Really, the only other team you can say that about is like San Antonio, just because the coaching is superb. But playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball when it comes to those two teams. The Spurs and the Warriors. At least right now. At least right now. So yeah, man. Those were all the game ones. I don't think I missed any. Yeah, I don't think I missed any. It's just, I don't know, man. Some of the game ones, you're like, okay, of course, this happened. Like, of course, the Warriors won. Of course, the Celtics won. But then you're like, of course, the Nets won? And of course, Philly lost. Of course, Toronto lost. Like, no. I wasn't expecting this many upsets. The only upset I was expecting was for Philly to lose. And they did. But Toronto to lose, no. I wasn't expecting that, man. And I really wasn't expecting OKC to lose. Because we all remember, of course, near the end of the regular season, they went on a little slump. And I was like, okay, maybe the slump is warranted if when playoffs come, they play like, remember, early to mid-season OKC, where they were fighting for 3rd seed, but I guess not. I guess not. So yeah, man, those are all the game ones. What I'm going to do, I'm going to let this develop. I'm going to let the first round develop a little more. I'm going to let a few games go by. I'm going to see who gets swept, see who's in the game 6 or 7. Then I'll record some more for y'all. Because I feel like if I let this develop, we'll have a better grasp on what teams need to do or what teams need to not do. So I'm going to let that rock. Appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all stay tuned.